Welcome to the Toastmasters Experience. My name is Evelyn. Get inspired by today's Toastmasters Insights. Enjoy the show. Welcome to another episode of the Toastmasters Experience. From time to time on the Toastmasters Experience, I like to shine a light on one powerful question and share the diverse answers that I've received from Toastmasters around the world. Now, each voice brings something different, a glimpse into their habits, their mindset, or their path of growth. So here is what some of them had to say when I asked, what are your go-to resources as far as books, podcasts, tools, routines that have shaped your self-development?
I suppose I've always been kind of a tragic for domestic politics. Watching things like Insiders, that's a political show for our international listeners. That's a political show about domestic politics in Australia. Things like that. Lots of journalists that I admire and the way that they speak, the way they conduct interviews, podcasts. Big fan of the Party Room podcast, again, about politics. Okay. And I suppose the way that they speak, I very much admire. And one of the great things about politics is that you have lots of different people who speak in very different ways.
I listen to TED Talks all the time. I find them extremely interesting. So I think that's a great resource to not only pick up sort of ideas that you might be able to, change or move around into some way to help you, but just to see the different ways that people do present. I think being in a club where you might see the same people talking at each meeting, it's good to get onto some other resources and see other people speaking in a totally different environment. I think that can help you learn. I have done some lessons in speech and drama, which is a course that we run at our school so that girls do, just like they would learn a musical instrument, they can learn speech and drama. I mean, those skills in drama and speaking have been extremely helpful as well. Both of those have been very good.
Well, obviously, Craig Valentine has been a huge influence on me, and I love listening to him and to learn tips from him every time when I can. One of the speakers that I love listening to is Simon Sinek, and then there is, oh my gosh, I just lost my train of thought. Someone who I love listening to as well whenever he is speaking, because it's not the same as myself in terms of how he speaks, but he's just so motivating whenever I hear him. And that's what drives me. Dr. Eric Thomas, that's it.
Okay.
Dr. Eric Thomas.
Okay.
Anytime I listen to him, he just makes me want to run through a wall.
Okay.
And then, of course, there's the Les Browns of the world as well that obviously have influenced millions of people around the world. But I would say that those are the people that I truly like listening to and learning from.
Okay. So it sounds like you're always learning, because I think being a professional speaker, you never stop learning. So you have to keep your ears, everything open and being able to further yourself.
Yes, I am always a connoisseur of learning. I think that the minute you stop learning, you stop living. Right?
Yeah.
The minute you stop learning, you stop living. So you have to constantly be upgrading yourself whenever you can. Constantly upgrade yourself.
Oh, there are so many. First of all, what started me on the journey of becoming a really good speaker was Brené Brown's work. Brené Brown's work, she has a TED Talk called The Power of Vulnerability, which that was the catalyst years ago for me to start telling my vulnerable story, which has then helped me become the authentic and vulnerable speaker that so many people then feel connected to these days. Before I used to speak from more of a detached energy, not really putting myself into the story. Whereas now I'm able to be very vulnerable, share openly about what's going on in my life to other people and on different platforms. So Brené Brown's work, The Power of Vulnerability, TED Talk, and all of her books are fantastic. Really, really powerful. I also love, there's this book called The Secrets of Natural Success by William Whitecloud. That does introduce a bit of the alchemy work. And he is an incredible manifester and shares some really powerful insights that aren't as mainstream, but we're bringing into the mainstream. So The Secrets of Natural Success is a great book for those people who really do want to create their desires into reality. That's also a great one. And I've got so many.
Yeah.
Lewis Howes. I love Lewis Howes, like watching his work, his interviews of people, so authentic, so beautiful. I love Brendan Burchard's energy. He's more of the hype guy and high performance. There's just so many people. Gabby Bernstein, absolutely beautiful woman teaching manifestation as well. Gabbo Mate. Oh, there's many.
Atomic Habits by James Clear.
I love that book.
It is so true. It is so simple a concept. And I am actually helping my clients using the concepts in this book. Habit stacking, very simple thing, just helping them find their triggers. That's one of the books that I keep on my bedside table.
What about podcasts that you listen to?
Oh, I listen to a lot of podcasts, especially the Toastmasters Experience.
Yes, thank you. Another plug.
I do listen to Diary of a CEO, Modern Wisdom with Chris Williamson. He has some fantastic guests. I actually went to see him when he came to the ICC last year. I also like to listen to the Rich Roll podcast and obviously the most popular podcast in the world, Andrew Huberman, about health and science.
Yeah, okay.
How you can hack your physiology to have the best life possible.
Yeah, that's what I like about the Toastmasters experience. I like asking that question because we all listen to different things, we read different things, and it just helps us to improve in our
Definitely.
lives.
You got to feed yourself good food, but you also got to feed your mind with good stuff, good knowledge.
Exactly.
Absolutely, 2 words. And I was just on her podcast not too long ago. Bless her heart. Nancy Levin. Nancy Levin and Craig Valentine actually recommended her book to me called Worthy, because as a world champion, as a speaker in this industry, as a young person who didn't grow up with a silver spoon in her mouth, I still had a lot to learn about business and self-worth and understanding the truth of your net worth is the reflection of your self-worth. And I knew that there was some type of disconnect. And I was telling Craig Valentine, like, why am I not making all this money like these other guys are? And how come I just feel like I can't get ahead? He's like, that sounds like some self-worth issues. So read this book and let me see how you feel after that. And after that, everything changed. So the book called Worthy by Nancy Levin changed my life. She has a podcast. She has an Instagram channel. But any woman who is feeling like you're not charging enough, or you don't know why other people are making more money than you, and maybe you have more talent or more skill or more experience, read that book.
I love the book Talk Like Ted. Definitely would recommend that one by Carmine Gallo.
Okay.
I love the book Resonate by Nancy Duarte. These are 2 awesome books about communication. Here's the book that I also think people should take a look at. It's called Speak Like Churchill, Stand Like Lincoln. Speak Like Churchill, Stand Like Lincoln. It's a very short book on the craft of speaking. I'd be remiss. I got to add one other.
Okay, no worries. Hey, who's the author of that one?
The author of that one is James C. Humes, Humes.
Okay.
James C. Humes.
Fantastic.
And so that's a great book. And then, I'm such a high school English teacher. Look at me just giving book titles, right?
No, it's great. I love it.
So here's one more.
Okay.
Right? I'll give you the fourth of the final. There's a book called Made to Stick.
Made to Stick. Okay. And who's the author of that one?
So Made to Stick is by Chip Heath. He spells his last name Heath. And Made to Stick is really about how to make your message stick and be memorable.
Yeah.
And last in people's brains. So awesome books.
You know, there's one in particular, and I say this to so many people, it's an Oprah book. And it's more in regards to young children, but I think it can be applied to anyone. And it's titled What Happened to You? So very often in education, you know, when we come across a child that's just not behaving the way we expect them, but rather than saying, what's wrong with you, we should be asking what happened to you and looking at all the external forces that have impacted on your being, your growing up, you know, what has influenced you. And I think once we have that mind shift of asking what happened as opposed to what's wrong, we look at people differently. And again, if you want to apply it to Toastmasters, you know, people aren't born with that fear of speaking. I absolutely believe it. Something has happened along the way. Someone has ridiculed them. Someone has said, you can't. Someone has made fun of their accent, or someone has said, you know, sit down, we can't understand you. You know, something has happened. And I think once we look at, again, going back to Toastmasters, we look at those beautiful people that come in, that choose to come in and say, you know, I'd really like some help in this area. If we ask the right questions, you know, what is it that you want to achieve? You know, I want to be able to speak confidently. Okay, why do you believe that you don't have the confidence? Well, you know, I get nervous, I get this. And often when you drill down, someone has said to me, something has happened. And I think once we can overcome that and we understand, because I think it's our responsibility in the club, once we understand what happened to them, we can work better with them and help them overcome that hurdle. So that's the book. And I apply that to everyone. I think when I meet people for the first time, and especially people who are not particularly nice, I suppose, for want of a better word, the question I always ask myself, what has happened to them to make them respond in such a negative manner or act in such a antisocial manner? I do have another book, and that was given to me by my very good friend Dale, and it looks at leadership but through heart and hands as opposed to being a leader and being in charge. And the beautiful Dale gave it to me in regards to taking on this leadership position, that leading is not necessarily commanding, but rather leading with your heart and understanding, and then doing with your hands.
What is the name of the book and the author?
Head and Heart, The Art of Modern Leadership.
Who's the author?
Kirsten Ferguson. That's been a bit of an eye-opener as well, reading about other people's experiences in leadership and how they approach leadership. I firmly believe leadership is not led from the front, but it's led from behind, and empowering those people around you to do the best they can.
Thank you for listening to this collection of insights. It's always fascinating to hear what fuels someone's growth, whether it's a powerful book, a daily ritual, or a voice in their ear from a favorite podcast. I hope something shared today sparked an idea for your own journey. Thank you so much for your company. Please tune in next time to the Toastmasters Experience.